All right, so to get started, I'd like to start by saying thank you to all the board members for being here today. It really means a lot that you guys took time out of your day to help us get feedback on our pitches and really, tell us where we're at with these. So I'd also like to give a big thank you to Lizzie. You guys can't see her right now, but she's right behind the camera, and without her, none of this really would have happened. So for the past 6 weeks, we have had 2 teams working through the entrepreneurial process, and this has really been our first exposure to the process, and we've worked pretty hard to get to the point we're at right now, and we're ready to pitch 2 ideas for you. The first idea is presented by a team called What's the Move, and they're trying to solve. Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry, the first team is STEP, and they're presenting a issue that's trying to solve or presenting a solution to the problem of human trafficking. And the second team is What's the Move, and they're trying to solve teen boredom. So each team's going to have 10 minutes to pitch, followed by some time for any board members to ask questions and to give any feedback to the teams.
Can you make sure they can see you?
Are you guys able to see all 3 of us?
Yes, looks great.
Okay, and
Awesome.
you can see the board.
Oh, I have it on the seat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so first of all, we'd like to thank you so much for coming and taking the time out of schedule to listen to our pitches today. I'm Abby Voris, this is Kylie Vida and Kaden Sheets, and our group decided to tackle the issue of sex trafficking. So we decided to create a nonprofit organization called STEP, and STEP stands for Sex Trafficking Education and Prevention. And so many people believe that sex trafficking is not a prevalent issue in the United States today, but in fact, it affects thousands of people every day. And a young high school student named Tiana, who had a rough childhood growing up, going in and out of foster homes, seeked love, attention, and affection. And so she turned to social media, specifically Instagram, to find her value. And one day, when a young, handsome man reached out to her and told her how beautiful she was and that he wanted to marry her someday, she was absolutely thrilled because no one had ever said anything like this to her before. And so as the relationship progressed, one day after school, he was outside waiting for her. And she was a little bit nervous and hesitant at first because she'd only talked to him online. She hadn't talked to him in person yet. But she was young and in love, so she decided to leave with him anyway. And over the course of their relationship, over a month, he was loving and kind and so sweet to her and showered her with gifts and compliments. But then one day he flipped a switch and changed. He became abusive, and he had taken nude photos of her and was going to use them against her unless she did what he said, which was to sell her body to earn money for him. Tiana felt absolutely trapped in this situation under his control and felt like there was no way out. And this process that Tiana went through is called grooming. And grooming is one of the #1 reasons why teens are trafficked in the United States today, because it's based off of building a relationship with someone rather than just grabbing someone off the street. But most teens don't know about this process. And we found that, in fact, 50% of our interviewees said that since they aren't informed enough on this issue, they don't feel obligated to do anything about it or to even learn about it. So this is where STEP comes in. STEP is an online platform and event developer that will partner with other organizations to help educate teens on sex trafficking in a relevant and engaging way.
So as you heard, we have 2 parts to our nonprofit organization. We're going to host events. And we have a website. For the events part of it, they would both be integrated together, the website and the event. This is our website that we created, and this is where teens would turn to after they've attended one of our events or to look to attend one of our events. At the events, teens would find educational videos, different brands and companies there that are promoting and sponsoring us. We ourselves would be speakers, along with others that we would hire out for teens to come in. They would all be educational focused to help teens learn more about anti-trafficking. Along with this, we would create a bracelet that would be used to get teens admission into the event, and would act as a fashion and educational statement. The only way to get the bracelet would be to come to one of our events to prove that you have been educated. Teens would then use this as a conversation starter to teach other teens about how they can help.
Okay, so sex trafficking is a very lucrative industry that deals with using people for commercial sexual acts through either force or coercion, and STEP will work to prevent and educate teens on how to avoid the dangerous situations. And the market is in great need of STEP because it's estimated that between 244,000 to 325,000 American teens are at risk of being trafficked, either due to the fact of a history of abuse, being runaways, or being in and out of foster homes. And in fact, we found that 62.5% of our interviewees said that there is a greater need for a better quality education on this issue. So we found that there are about 28 high schools located in Elkhart County, along with 41,027 children ranging from ages 5 to 17 in this area as well. And we hope to reach out to these groups through school promotion by going in and talking from one teen to another about how important this issue is, and also through purchasing Instagram ads as well.
When you were to look up online about human trafficking agencies or anti-human trafficking agencies, these are the top ones that would come up. There's a program from IU that's only available to advanced undergrads and grad students. There's also IYSA, which has a service for victims only. And the last one is through IDOE, which is for not very engaging to teens. The thing that sets us apart is we're 100% designed by teens. We are teens, and we're designing everything for teens. We are not some person who's been through this and just trying to educate them in a boring way. We've all seen those programs at school. Teens fall asleep, they're unengaged, they don't want to be there. We're different. We have a unique system used to keep teens engaged and educated.
At the place we're at now, we don't have paying customers and we don't have past sales, but we do have positive feedback. We reached out to the people we interviewed during the discovery process and gained validation through them. For example, Camden Carter, she is the senior officer of Brigham Young University's Anti-Human Trafficking Club, and Curtis Hill, the Attorney General of Indiana. These are only two impactful voices who are on board with our idea and believe it would be able to succeed. Now, if we were to implement the solution, our major costs would be social media marketing, speaker and venue fees, and a future app that we would create. In order to advertise directly to the 13 to 17-year-old age group, that would cost between 25 and 50 cents per click. To hire well-known speakers and rent venues per event would cost between $5,000 and $10,000, obviously depending on which speakers and which venues. Also, the app, in order to hire a professional app developer, it usually costs at least $20,000. Our major sources of return would be donations and ticket prices, and also profits from our bracelets. Now, looking at the comparison between costs and returns, the numbers are against us. So we have come up with a working timeline in order to organize our ideas and set things in perspective. So the process we're in now is reaching out to schools in order to hopefully organize a pilot event, which would help refine our ideas and processes and also get our name out into the community. Secondly, by the end of the year, hopefully, we would have connected with 5 sponsors at least to increase our credibility. And skipping ahead a bit, at the beginning of August, we would hope to have completed 6 events at least, and also make a lot of profits from selling our bracelets and other things like tickets. And this would hopefully mean evening out and being able to fund things like social media ads and other things that would improve our organization. And coming full circle, by this time next year, we hope to be able to hire a professional app developer to launch and to design and launch our STEP app.
for our funding. If you add up those numbers to see what it would have cost us to operate and have one event, it would cost between $20,000 to $35,000. While it does sound like a big number, we have a strong feeling that the businesses around us with the RV industry would greatly be willing to help us out in giving us funding.
The other members of our team include Maya Schmucker, Lily Ledesma, and Mara Inklin. We are a group of innovative entrepreneurial high schoolers who are better able to connect and relate with our target audience, which is something that sets us apart from other organizations. Each of us have a strong passion to take action, to see change, and to solve the problem in our community one step at a time.
If you guys have any questions or any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it.
Thank you.
Online, if you have questions, you can go ahead and just unmute yourself.
Good morning. This is Kip. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, super. Terrific presentation. Thank you. Nice job to all of you. Thank you for walking us through that. My question is maybe twofold, kind of what inspired you to take up this project? And then the second aspect's maybe a little more complex. Are you faced with a dilemma of any sort in that you're creating awareness and education? Is there any concern about, or have you found any concerns relating this being regulated in some way, in the way that your agency needs to communicate a message in this regard? I would imagine it could venture into the counseling arena fairly quickly, depending upon how you connect with individuals. So just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on those two aspects.
Gotcha. So definitely for the second question, if you were to visit our website, there is a part of it that is called, I believe it's under partnerships, and that will lead you to other organizations that can reach out and you can get help. There is also, we would partner with local counselors and provide free or low cost counseling for those needing help.
And then what inspired you?
And for your first question, as a entire group, the Startup Moxie group, we spent a lot of time coming up with problems that we face in our community, everyday problems, bigger problems, and we got together and decided what problem we wanted to tackle. And my group saw human trafficking and saw how big of an issue it is. Even in our limited knowledge at the beginning, we recognized how many people are affected, and what, I guess, for teens our age, social media is a large platform that we turn to a lot, and it's in front of our face a lot, and it's not really promoted on the things that we go to regularly. So that's why we had the idea for the Instagram ads eventually in our process, because that would be a way to connect with teens, because we're on social media a lot. So I guess it's kind of a little bit of the background of what we were thinking.
Okay, thank you. Nice job.
Any others?
Hi guys, this is Shelby. Great job with your presentation. I was wondering if you were considering getting your 501c3 as a nonprofit. It sounds like a lot of your setup is a not-for-profit, and how would that kind of change your plan depending on the answer?
We just ended up, we are actually at Martin's, I always forget, we were just at Martin's the other day where we were meeting and trying to apply for that. So we were actually struggling to pick a business name or what exactly we wanted to go by. And we ended up deciding to wait until after this event to see if we wanted to keep going, if it was worth filing for that. But we have looked into it, so thank you.
Sure, yeah, I think if you do end up going that direction, that would open up a lot for funding, you know, as donations or grants. So something to keep in mind. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
I have a question, or two questions actually, and I would echo what the other said. You did a great job on the presentation. Can you talk a little bit more in depth about what the events would look like? And then second question is, what does sustainability look like? I think what you all are seniors, is that correct?
Yes.
So a year from now,
Part of it, we kind of struggle with that one because every single one is different. We want teams to come to each one and try and collect our bracelets almost. It would be designed differently, and we would reach out to people that have been trafficked or those that are struggling with it, have them make our bracelets for us, and then that would kind of be the theme of the event. So we'd have a different speaker that would come or something that would be with it. But as for the setup of how it would go, we would hope to have our sponsors set up around us, at least for the first one. They would have 10 set up where people could learn more about them. And then we would have a main event in like the auditorium, say, where we would present ourselves a little bit about it and do what we call our Reddit activity, which would show a conversation or text message conversation of a grooming process to show teens this is what it looks like, to kind of get them engaged, because that's the way that we found teens use. They love reading those text stories. After that, we'd go through and we would like to, we were worried about privacy and everything, show teens just how easy it is by finding someone's Instagram, showing them this is your car, this is your school. I could follow you home and find out exactly where you live, who you talk to every day, just how scary it is and how easy it is. They need to keep their accounts on private. They need to get educated and tell people around them how serious of an issue this is. And does that answer your question?
I think this is the first one.
Gotcha. Second one? You gotta take that.
Sure. So the second one, to be honest, we haven't really thought that far long term. I guess I didn't even really think about like us going to college and such. So I guess if we did decide to carry this beyond the pitch, that's definitely something that we would need to sit down and talk about, and just kind of establish our priorities and figure out maybe if we need to draw other people in on our team. But thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even think about that.
This is definitely one of the biggest things for us to come and have this, so we can see, is it worth it? Is the board actually for it and really with it? Thinking it could happen, or are we too far out of we're thinking too far ahead? That's kind of what this was for, to measure for us to figure it out. For me personally, I do want to go on and do the college program that would go with this, so I could potentially carry it on or bring them with me.
Any other questions or comments online?
Hey guys, this is Matt. Just wanted to say that whoever designed the website and did all that stuff, it looks awesome. So great work on that. I thought it was great. And then also in the initial research that you guys did you find if there's any connection to certain ethnicities or backgrounds that are more likely to be affected by this? Because that could open up some opportunities too for funding, down the road as well.
Yeah, I can try. So throughout our research, I guess we didn't necessarily look into specifically what ethnicity. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
It's a brutal word to say, so I apologize.
Yes, no, you're fine. It was more based off of people who was more vulnerable, like who was having a harder time in life, who was having more family issues. It was more, people vulnerabilities, not necessarily based off of race.
And also we found, also with our interviews, in addition to the research that we did ourselves, a lot of the people we talked to highlighted the fact that people with mental disabilities, or not disabilities, mental illnesses, thank you, are also a part of that group of the vulnerable. So we thought that was interesting, and that's kind of why we wanted to include that section in our website, just to give people the opportunity, like, hey, if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, and such, we have an option for you, and we want you to be healthy and safe, because when your mental state isn't completely strong, we know that, as like Abby said in the story at the beginning, you're a lot more vulnerable to attacks by people who know how to manipulate that situation. So.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Great work.
Thank you.
It's Shelby again. I guess this isn't so much a question as it sounds to me like there might be a lot of parallels between the people you're trying to reach for anti-trafficking and also like domestic abuse or violence. So I don't know if that's something that you would maybe consider helping educate teens, you know, when they're still a teenager before they're in that kind of relationship. That sounds like something that might be a potential expansion. So again, not a question, just an observation if that's something you might want to look into.
We definitely thought of that because when we looked into what is a nonprofit, where does our money go? Since we are profiting from it, it goes back into the business. So we thought once we get enough money that we have this huge sum sitting there on the side, we want to branch out and start other businesses within STEP. Get different ones for domestic abuse, get ones for teens that are doing drugs, make it designed by teens for teens in all areas. So thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you guys, great job.
My name is Gadiel Montiel.
My name is Rita Bone.
My name is Isaac Eggers, and we are What's the Move?
We conducted a survey in 2020, and it portrayed that modern boredom is still a very real and current issue. The survey was taken by more than 300 people from the ages of teens to seniors and showed that more than 99% of people still experience unrivaled day-to-day boredom. In rebuttal to that, we made What's the Move? What's the Move is our virtual platform to help inform the community of social events and gatherings happening in your area for you to attend. An interviewee once said, "Need to figure out something to make people not bored." And here we are.
Story time. Sally is your typical teenager. She uses her phone when she feels that there is nothing to do, but her phone only makes her feel more bored. Technology is not a solution to boredom because it makes Sally and teens like her feel more isolated and depressed.
We decided this was a huge problem. Teens these days, can you go back to the problem one?
Oh,
You're going forward.
sorry. This one?
No, next one. Thank you. Teens these days are too lazy to actually get off their butts and find events and activities to go do. We decided we need to make this easier. 98.2% of teens that we interviewed and surveyed said that they experience boredom every day. This stems from the laziness of not wanting to actually go out and look for these activities and events. This causes depression, anxiety, and lack of motivation. Depression and anxiety are huge problems these days in modern society and for teens because suicide rates are going through the roof. We also found that from our research that teens that are bored are 50% more likely to do bad or come up with bad decisions and like commit crimes or get into drugs. We also decided there's a huge problem for businesses. Businesses these days are having a hard time advertising to teens on the new platforms or keeping up with trends that teens are using. Businesses Teens are not attending events and activities that businesses are hosting because businesses are lacking the right skills to advertise to these teens. In an interview with Jim Finnan, he also said that he hosts a lot of events at the Ethos Center here. He hosts a lot of events that are made for teens and students, and a lot of teens don't attend because they don't see them and they don't know how to advertise them correctly.
Opportunity. We have found that there are 41 million teens that have experienced boredom. This provides a large market space. The teens will use our platform to find events and activities near them. For businesses, we have found that they cannot connect properly with teens because their advertisements focus solely on the adult audience. Our platform will focus more on just teens only. And in one interview, we saw that the disconnect between teens and businesses is that a business owner said, "It's hard to know what teens are using these days." This clearly shows that they don't know what teens are interested or what platforms they're using.
Our solution to this is called What's the Move, and it will revolutionize coping with modern boredom forever. What's the Move will map out and give out quick and easy information on social events and gatherings happening in your area, making it a click and go process of getting out of your house and finding your fun. What's the Move's filter will be able to filter out and highlight the best options to best accommodate and suit our users. What's the Move will also in return help businesses and events by having the feature to give feedback and constructive criticism that they can receive to help them improve their quality of service.
As you can see here, this is a picture of our website on a mobile device. We decided to go with a mobile device to show it off because most teens will be using a mobile device to access it. And as you can see on the main homepage, there's a button for events and activities, which is easy, simple to click right there. You click it, it'll take you to this page, which shows you a map of all the events that are close to you. You can see exactly where they are. There's going to be a little pinpoint that shows it. And as you scroll down, you can see what the events are. It describes what goes on at that event and who's hosting the event. You can also see that there's an About Us tab, which talks about what we're here for, what we're doing, and who we are. And there's also an Add Your Event tab where businesses can apply to put their events on our website.
Target market. Our target market is huge. Already locally, we have 20,000 teens in the Elkhart area that are all potential customers. We also include business owners and event planners as customers as well, as they will be able to use our product to advertise their product. Over time, we would definitely like to expand our target market as the brand grows, because the findings our interviews are showing are that the vast majority of teens everywhere are all potential customers, making the amount of potential customers insane.
Our competition consists of quite a few different websites that do somewhat of the same thing. The things that make us different is that we are teens and we know what teens want, and we know what looks good to teens and what attracts teens to use our website. We also allow a map, which a lot of these websites do not provide, which is an easy way for these teenagers and anybody who uses our app to see where the events are and how close they are to these events. We are also allowing a feature that allows you to connect with friends and see what events your friends are going to, which none of these other websites provide. Our business model would be, we would make our money through businesses. We wouldn't charge the people who use our app, such as the teenagers. We would charge the businesses to get their events and activities on our app, or on our website, our platform. And this would allow us to charge them for how long they want to keep their events and activities on our website. And this will draw in more customers to come to our website and use it. So what we decided, since we can't charge them right off the bat because we won't have as many customers and teenagers using our website, we're going to give them 1 free month of trial for these businesses to post their events and activities. That way we can draw in our consumers before we start selling off our positions to place your activities and events.
Traction. We've already gotten a lot of approval and praise from both sides of our customers. From the teen side, we interviewed more than 150 kids, and more than 95% of them said that they approved of our product and said they would very much like to use it once the full version is released. And from the business version, we've gotten the approval and praise from CEO of Ethos, Jim Finnan, who said he would very much like to invest in buy an advertisement once we have exceeded 1,000 users.
Our team consists of highly motivated, hardworking young entrepreneurs. We have great communication skills among us, and we have great initiative. Whenever there was a new task that came up, someone was always jumping on board on it, or they were leading the new project. We really feel passionate about this problem because we've all faced it, or our friends have faced it, and we're really emphasizing that this is a problem for teens by teens. We would like to get in contact with a website programmer or developer. We'd also like to have more interviews with large businesses so that we could get their feedback on what we need to improve on, or if they would use our resource. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
So I will start. Good job on the presentation. I have a couple of questions for you. Number one, as you have talked about you developed the website. Did you look at other websites that are aimed at events in this area at all? So just using the Convention and Visitors Bureau as an example.
We didn't actually look at that specific website, but we looked at quite a few different ones, and we just decided that, I mean, some of what we're doing is a lot of the same, but what we're doing differently is we're attracting a different target market, because most of those are targeted towards older people. We're trying to target the teenagers and really draw them in and get them off their butts to get out there and actually do these activities and events.
This is Sheila. The one thing that stands out to me is, the need for funding, because when you're going out to businesses looking for advertising, you really need a strong salesperson, and that's going to cost some money. So what are your plans for raising that funding?
Well, honestly, we haven't really thought much about raising the funding. which hopefully using the website with the free month, that would kind of raise our funding in the beginning. But other than that, we do still need funding to create the website and make it official. And by doing that, I mean, we have a large team. We still haven't we really haven't thought about it that deep yet because, I mean, this is kind of new to us, a whole website designing and everything like that. We weren't sure how much it would cost, but as we did more research, we realized it would cost quite a bit. So funding this would be quite difficult in the beginning, but I feel as we grow and once we start getting it funded, once we get it there, it'll fund itself pretty easily.
So would you guys be out talking to businesses yourselves? I think that's kind of what Sheila was saying. Are you going to be boots on the ground going and meeting with businesses like you did with Jim?
Oh, yes.
Or hiring
Definitely.
a salesperson?
Definitely. We would be doing it ourselves. We're a great team. We're really inspired by what we're working on, and we're really driven to make it achieve success.
Yeah, I think great presentation, and I think it's something that's really needed. So great work.
Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Matt. I thought your presentation was really good. I think the biggest thing early on is going to be how you can utilize that ramp up period. You're probably going to need longer than a month, I would guess, to be able to try and generate some interest. And so I think that you would want to try and find ways to maybe ramp up business participation, saying that, like, you know, over the course of 3 months, you started, here's your fee for month 2, here's the fee for month 3, and that starts to escalate with, you know, the amount of users that you get, you know, on board. But I do think that this area does miss a little bit on the fact that there's no way to really capture all the different things that are going on. So I think you guys have done a good job of hitting that need there. I would just be thinking a little more critically about the business interaction with your product, because that's what you're going to need for the funding side of things.
We also, I just want to add to that, we want to make it easier because the smaller businesses to advertise these days is really expensive. So our platform is going to be cheaper. We want to make it close to as cheap as we can, but still make a profit off of it. So what we really wanted to do is help out these smaller businesses, because there's a lot of smaller businesses that host these events and activities and nobody ever hears about them. So they just go missed.
Yeah. And what I think you're talking about there is crowdfunding a little bit. And I think that this could be a pretty good way to do that. The more people you get involved at a lower dollar level, that money still counts. So just be thinking about that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments online? No? Okay. I would also say to the board members, if you guys have any additional feedback that any additional feedback that you would like to give to the teams, you can either just email me directly, or I can email out the team's contact information to you guys. But I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you, Levon, for being in here in person. Unless anybody has anything else, then we will go ahead and hop off of Zoom, and we'll just linger here in class. So any other comments or questions for either of the teams? They're all back here. I know you can't see them right now, but yeah, anything else?
I just wanted to say that this is a huge improvement from last year. I thought that these pitches are really strong. And I think that you can even sense in the communication skills are really well portrayed in this. So great work, guys. Really good work.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Isaac.
I just want to say that's probably because Lizzie innovated the way she taught us.
Thanks, Isaac.
Yeah, we've got 100% faith in Lizzie, so we're not worried about that.
Yeah, great job, guys. Just clearly a lot of preparation went into this, a lot of, I think, thought and research into like the problem that you're trying to solve. So I thought that was really excellent.
Thanks, Shelby. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I will email out a link just to watch this to the rest of the board for those who weren't able to join. So thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Students, you guys can stay on and we'll go ahead and kind of wrap up here in a minute.